Well, as they say, don't assume because it makes a blank out of you and me. Cleveland coach Kevin Stefanski, if I can talk today, addressed the media and would not commit to Sanders as the backup. So the Browns quarterback room is our take 2.
What's their plan? It's a great question to have. What is your plan? What has been your plan? You know, let's go into the season with Joe and 2 other rookies and then trade Joe 5 weeks in.
But they wish they still had Kenny Pickett right now.
You look at Dillon Gabriel, you know he can play, he's not a scrub. But you're not looking at him and saying there's no way on earth that we're going to see Shedeur Sanders because this guy's going to ball out. He's clearly the starting quarterback in the future of the Browns.
One struggles, well, shoot, we're going to another guy that's never played again or has never played before. And now, you know, we're in this situation as a team going, oh, my gosh, are we really in our best situation to have a chance to win this football game?
There is a scenario where Bailey Zappi could be elevated from the practice squad to be the backup. He has started in this league. He started for that.
I don't believe that the Cleveland Browns are going to win many games. And because they're not going to win many games, right around that time, they'll be eliminated from playoff contention. And as a result of that, you have nothing to lose by putting Shedeur out there just to find out what he can do.
For more on this trade, we are joined by NFL analyst and the host of Fantasy Football Now, Field Yates.
Yeah.
Hello, Field.
Hello there.
Okay, so from a fantasy perspective, what is the biggest takeaway from this Joe Flacco trade?
It's not a guarantee that Joe Flacco is an upgrade over Jake Browning because Joe has not been good so far this season. The hope is that there is a non-zero chance that Joe steadies the offensive output. And this is a much more consistent offense with Joe Flacco under center compared to where it has been with Jake Browning. Back-to-back-to-back games in which the Bengals have been basically run off the field by opposing offenses and defenses. Joe did not play great, as I mentioned, for the Browns, and like Jake Browning, not a particularly mobile quarterback, but we have seen Joe steady an offensive ship in prior years. He actually did so just a couple of seasons ago in Cleveland, part of the reason why he was brought back prior to this past year. So I wouldn't necessarily mortgage the house on it, but that being said, I do think there's a chance that Joe Flacco just makes things a little smoother sailing for all of the wide receivers especially.
He was comeback player of the year that year.
He was,
so he's coming back again, maybe 40 years old. We'll see what happens. Okay, we have a new segment.
I don't want to be called old.
Are you old?
I am not 40, but when I get there, I don't want to be old.
You're not old. New segment alert here on SportsCenter Happy Hour. It's time for Field Day. Look at how cute that is.
Awesome. This is amazing.
There's so many. There's 2 of you. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. That's okay.
Look at how you're looking at you. It's great. Okay, so who are 3 guys that'll have a field day in fantasy this week?
Yeah, these are not necessarily the most obvious of answers. Not Josh Allen and Bijan Robinson types. How about Justin Herbert for the Miami Dolphins, against the Miami Dolphins, I should say, who the Dolphins have been as generous as any defense in terms of allowing fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. That being said, Herbert has struggled for the past 3 weeks. I think he scores north of 20 fantasy points, which is right where his projections at 20.2 on ESPN Fantasy. The Dolphins are just out of answers entirely for quarterbacks. The first 4 weeks of the season, they allowed guys to go off. Wouldn't surprise me if Justin Herbert becomes the 5th quarterback to go off against the Dolphins defense. Kyren Williams should be in for a gigantic day this upcoming weekend against the Ravens, who cannot stop the run whatsoever. Last week, C.J. Stroud threw for 4 touchdowns against them, but Nick Chubb did find the end zone on a relatively long touchdown run. Kyren Williams had 8 catches last week. He won't get 8 again this week, Christine, but I do think he will have a big game on Sunday. Finally, Xavier Worthy and the Chiefs, who have an opportunity against a Lions secondary that is down 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks compared to where things looked at the beginning of training camp. Terron Arnold, their first-round pick a year ago, is now the latest player to be out due to injury, joining DJ Reed in terms of guys that have been starters for them this season. Worthy has back-to-back games with at least 8 targets with the Chiefs. Wouldn't surprise me if he has a nice night.
Yeah, and obviously they are missing some pieces on offense, so he obviously is their main target. I can't get over you just looking at me over there.
Yeah.
Looks great.
They look great.
Great.
As far
Great
as I'm
picture.
concerned. Yeah.
All right, make sure.
Can start against Green Bay in 4 weeks. The Browns, by the way, that was their only win of the season. It came against the Packers. Okay, can make it up. Senior NFL insider Adam Schefter joins us now. Schefter, why do the Bengals feel that Flacco gives them the best chance to win on Sunday?
Because they've seen him do it before a few weeks ago when he led the Browns to a victory over the Packers. And yes, The Browns defense was huge in that game, but Joe Flacco studied the Packers all week long. He already knows what it's like to go against this particular defense, and he's a veteran in this league. He knows what it takes to have to learn an offense in short order. In fact, when he was driving into Cincinnati yesterday, he was on the phone with Zach Taylor the whole way, going over the Bengals offense and what would be required. And let's be honest, Kevin, since Joe Burrow went down, the Bengals gave Jake Browning a chance, and the whole offense faltered and didn't get it done. They need to come up with a spark, and they're hoping that Joe Flacco, who already beat the Green Bay Packers once a few weeks ago, can do it again.
I'm just going to say this. Bengals offensive line, just do your job, because if not, it could be a very long day, and he could be in this next story or next answer I'm about to ask you next week. The Bengals, one of a handful of teams dealing with injuries to starting quarterbacks, so let's go through some injury updates on other quarterbacks heading into this week, and let's start with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson not practicing today. That does not bode well for his availability for Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. So let's keep in mind that the Ravens have a bye after this week. So right now it is shaping up to be Cooper Rush replacing Lamar Jackson for a second straight week as he continues to recover from that hamstring injury. It's a similar story in San Francisco, where Brock Purdy also did not practice today, Kevin. And that sets up the real possibility that once again, the 49ers will have Mac Jones lead them into Tampa as Purdy continues to recover from his turf toe injury. Mac Jones was last seen leading an upset over the Los Angeles Rams last Thursday night. And the Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray did not practice today, has been dealing with a foot injury he suffered late in the loss to the Tennessee Titans. Now, Kyler Murray did come back in the game, so there is some hope that he can play on Sunday. But if he can't,
both of those games, but either way, they feel like they have more options now if Browning were to continue to struggle. And on the flip side with the Browns, you know, they feel pretty good about the development of their rookies. Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, at this point, this would indicate that Shedeur Sanders likely ascends to the number 2 spot behind Dylan Gabriel, and that eventually at some point this season, whether it's because Gabriel struggles or whether they just want to know what they have, they probably do get a look at Shedeur Sanders. Browns could bring in another veteran. They have Bailey Zappi on the practice squad, but it looks like they're going forward with the 2 rookies from this point.
Yeah, you can imagine they didn't think Joe Flacco was going to be their guy for the future, so getting Dylan Gabriel and possibly Shedeur Sanders. Tampa Bay is the first team in NFL history to pick up each of its first 4 wins of a season by a game-winning score in the final minute of regulation.
I mean, they've been fun to watch, and a big part of those wins joins us now 14-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champ with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Lavonte David. Lavonte, quickly, how much does your body hurt now being 14 years in, going from Seattle back to Florida on flights?
Hurts a lot, man. It took me a little time to get out of bed this morning. But thank you guys for having me. It was fun. It was well worth it for sure.
Yeah, and look, we noted how close all of those games have been this season. What does this team do that turns these close games into wins instead of going the other way?
I mean, it's a testament to preparation and the coaches putting us in these situations throughout the week. We work on 2 minutes every week, and then for the most part, we work on good. You know, it'd be one defense against one offense, and coaches throw out a situation out there, and we just go through it. You know, talk us through it, on expectations from both sides of the ball, and when the games come down to it, everybody know what to do. You know, from both sides, and we was able to prevail in the ones we had. I mean, which is all the wins, you know. But you hate to have the games come down to that. But luckily, we prepared ourselves for those situations.
Yeah, I'm from Tampa, so I cheer for you guys, and it is a little nerve-wracking on occasion. I want to get your thoughts on something, okay? Give me your thoughts on this nickname. Matt Berry doesn't like it. Your quarterback, Tampa Baker. How do you feel about that?
Nah, not Tampa Baker. You probably just leave it at Tampa Bake or...
Tampa Bake is like the same thing.
Yeah, Tampa
You guys
Bake.
say Tampa Bay. I feel like Tampa Baker makes way more sense. Okay, so anyway, as Matt mentioned, you've had a 14-year career, all with the Bucs. You've seen plenty of quarterbacks. What does Baker Mayfield bring to this team?
His passion. I love his passion for the game, man. I always tell him he played quarterback like a linebacker, and that's why I love him so much. He's very passionate. He's always fiery. You know, and you already know how he is. When people get in his face and trash talk, he's gonna trash talk back. You know, most quarterbacks kind of sit back and stay quiet. You know, but nah, they're gonna come right back at you, and that's what I love about him. Man, he gets everybody fired up. You know, I like to get up on the sideline, kind of watch him work. It's fun to watch, and the most thing that I love is just watching him prevail after all he's been through, and being able to, you know, lead us to victories and stuff like that, and him having fun out there playing the game. That's what I love most about him.
I mean, it is a great story. He was a #1 pick. He was cast aside, went to Carolina, went out and played for the Rams. Now he's leading you guys at 4-1, and he's taking you to the postseason. When you have a guy, Lavonte, that's been through that much, that comes in with that kind of swagger, how much do you almost take on the